Today is Thursday, July 6th, 2017. Tonight on Gayxyz, we're going to talk about how Texas rules no benefits for gay couples. Millennials prefer sex before the first date. I'm not surprised by that. Um, and if you ejaculate 20 times a month or more, maybe a health benefit. All that and more tonight on Gayxyz.
We started dancing and love put us into a groove. As soon as we started to move, the music played while our bodies displayed through the dance. Then love picked us out for romance. I thought it was clear the plan was we would share this feeling just between ourselves. But when the music changed, the plan was rearranged. He went to dance with someone else. We started dancing and love put us into a groove. But now he's with somebody new. What does love want me to do? Love said, let the music play. He won't get away. Just keep the groove and then he'll come back to you again. Let the music play. He won't get away. This groovy candy girl, he won't leave you anymore. He tried pretending our dance is just a dance, but I see he's dancing his way back to me. Yes, he discovered we are truly lovers, magic from the very start. 'Cause love just can't be proven, and it felt me moving, even though we danced apart. So we started dancing and love put us into the groove. As soon as we started to move, as soon as we started to move, love said, let the music play. You won't get away. Just keep the groove and then he'll come back to you again. Let the music play. You won't get away. This groovy candy girl, he won't leave you anymore. He tried pretending a dance is just a dance, but I see he's dancing his way back to me. He's dancing his way back to me. Love said, let the music play. Let the music play. Just keep the groove and then he'll come back to you again. Let the music play. You won't get away. This groovy candy girl, 'cause he won't leave you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to GayXYZ. How's it going tonight, Jason?
I've had better.
Uh-oh.
It's been better. We'll talk about it.
Uh-oh. Lots to talk about tonight, apparently. Well, that was Shannon with Let the Music Play. A oldie but goodie. Do you know that song or not?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
heard that song in a long
I
time. now.
know. You know how I remembered it? I watched this game show called Beat Shazam. And
Oh, yeah. That's the one that Jamie Foxx is hosting, right?
yeah, he hosts it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I rock at that show, by the way. My friend Kathy said, oh my God, you have to watch this show because you would be so good on it, because I know songs by like the first few seconds of the song. But anyway, but I was watching it, and one of the contestants was the woman, Shannon, from that song. She was one of the contestants on the show. And I was like, she's like, you had a song in the 80s that was a hit. She said, like, yeah. And so she sang it, and it's like, oh my God, I remember that song. So I had to hear it. So that's why I played it. Anyway, I just had, that song gets in your head. You just can't get it out. So that's what I was doing. Anyway, so it is July the 6th, 2017, 2 days after July the 4th, our Independence Day, so-called Independence Day, anyway, in the United States of America.
Now, about you took the words right out of my mouth because I'm just like, yeah, it's Independence Day, but not everybody is free.
Ain't that the truth? But of course, it's always been that way, but whatever. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. We've got lots of things to talk about. I got to tell you about my throwdown at Walgreens. I don't know if you read about it on my Facebook page or not. And I got to talk about we can talk about millennials preferring sex before the first dates. Ejaculating 21 times a month is good for your health. Brazilian soccer players get fired for gay sex in the locker room, and there's a video of it. Texas rules, no benefits for gay couples. And we're going to talk about Karen Huger on The Real Housewives of Potomac and her whole drama. Now that we know why they sold their house.
Bitch.
Did you hear about why? You did hear about why, right?
They supposedly owe like $1 million to the IRS, right?
They owe $1.4 million to the IRS. He personally does. And then his company owes $3.7 million to the IRS in back taxes. And
see, now it's all making sense. This is why the fuck she's being so secretive on the show.
Well, wait, first let's replay it first, because the thing is, we'll get this out of the way first, Real Housewives talk. Because the thing is about Real Housewives of Potomac is Karen Huger, for those of you who don't watch the show, is she considers herself and literally calls herself the Grande Dame of Potomac. And she's, given herself that moniker, of course, but she says people in Potomac crowned her that. Anyway, whatever. The point is, she's very, very pretentious and a big old bitch. Anyway, and so she's always talking about how much money she has and da-da-da-da. Now, last season, her hair was on point all the time, and she looked great, whatever. This season, her hair looks like she just came out of a scarecrow convention or something. Her wigs are all fucked up, and her makeup's fucked up, her clothes, and she's moving and selling her house. Well, what the fuck you selling your house? She moves out of Potomac and to move into Great Falls, Virginia, across the river, and rents a house instead of buys one. And she's like, "Oh, we wanted to upsize," and they don't. No, first of all, Jason, I'm sure you agree. No one rents unless they have to rent. Everybody buys. Right. If you got that much money, you buy a house, right? Right. Unless
you're transitioning, unless you have like a house built,
that's
and
different.
You're renting for a short amount of time. That's different.
That's different. Yes. Generally, people buy if they can afford to buy. Generally, and so everybody in her whole group is like saying, "What the fuck's going on? Why is she being so weird about it?" And she would not tell the truth. She kept lying the whole season about why they were moving, saying, "Oh, we want to upsize or downsize or whatever." Anyway, it comes out now that the reason they had to move is because she had to sell her fucking house to pay back the goddamn IRS because she owed them so much money, or her husband does anyway, or they do. I don't know. So, anyway, that's the drama there.
But I don't understand. I've never understood why she calls her husband the Black Bill Gates, because I'm like...
He started a very, very well-known company called the Paragon Group, which started, I can't remember. They created software, whatever, in the early 80s and stuff that was utilized a lot. I don't know. But that was
So what happened? I don't know.
I mean, he's old. That was like 50 years ago. Or whatever. I mean, I don't know, 30 years ago, whatever, it's 40 years ago. Whatever it was that he was, on the top of his game. Maybe she spends too much money. I mean, who the hell knows?
It could be, and I also think she's lying about her age. She says she's 53. I think she's older than that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
I think if you add about 10 years, it'll be more accurate.
I don't think she's that old. I think she's like late 50s, but that's just my opinion. But
she says she's 53. I was like, I don't know about that.
But the thing is, people like that who, I mean, the reason I'm so like catty about this is because she's such a bitch. I mean, if she had been like humble and come to those women, her friends or a group of friends or whatever on the show, and said, "Look, we're having financial difficulties. My husband has, gotten into some issues financially with the business and with the taxes and the IRS, and we're going to have to downsize, and we're going to have to move, and we're going to have to start renting and sell our house to pay off the taxes."
I'm pretty sure they're going to confront her about this on the reunion.
Oh, I am too. But I'm saying, don't you think that they would have been receptive if she'd been honest? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do
but
too.
She was hiding and acting like everything was okay, and they were just moving just to be moving.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
And
then she's so pretentious. Like she goes over to Monique's house for that little dinner or whatever they had, and she's like, oh, your house is empty like mine. I'm getting all new furniture too, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know what I mean? Just like she's so pretentious. I mean, just be real, bitch. Anyway, it just was. She just annoys the fuck out of me, and my husband cannot stand her. He didn't get into Potomac at all until the past few weeks, and now he's kind of into it. He's like, he hates her. Every time she comes on the screen, he's like, oh, I don't like her. I don't like her. I hate her. So I'm like, I'm right there with you. Anyway, but that's the talk about Real Housewives. So let's talk quickly about one of your topics. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, I can just if you want, I can just wait towards the end of the show.
Okay.
Mine are just nothing but just rants.
Well, then let me tell you about my little rant. Did you read my thing on Facebook or not? You may not have seen the post because not everybody sees all posts that people post on the Facebook page unless you go to their page
No,
to see it.
I didn't see it. No, I haven't been on Facebook really like that for the past few days, so
Okay.
I didn't see it. But
Well,
what happened?
this is what happened to me. I'm anxious to see what you have to say about it because I've gotten several opinions about this. So I was at Walgreens on, I guess, Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. And I was picking up a prescription and I was dropping off a prescription and I was coming out of the store, getting back in my car. I got in my car, opened my door, and there was this black car next to me on the left. And when I opened the door, it barely like hit the car, like just, you know what I mean?
Like you just bump it.
Yeah, I just bumped the car. And I looked. I was like, oops, like that. And I looked at the car to make sure I didn't do any damage or scratches or anything. There was no damage, no scratch, nothing. There was no damage at all in any way, shape, or form. So I go, okay. So I get in my car and I close the door. I push the little on button, and then I see out of the corner of my eye was this woman standing out of my window. And I look up, and it's like this 60-year-old woman with her blonde hair pulled back in a tight bun, and she's got these big ass like I don't know. Gloria Vanderbilt sunglasses on and like smoky yellow frames, whatever, and she's not dressed specifically fancy or anything. She's dressed kind of dressed down anyway, so she's kind of chunky too. And so I roll down my window, I go, hi. She goes, you hit my car. I go, yes, I did. I'm sorry. I didn't think there was any damage, though. I looked, there's no damage. And she said, well, you need to be more respectful of people's property. And I go,
she sounds like that woman, the same woman that I experienced in Allen a few months back.
I don't remember, but maybe it's the same woman.
The gas station, and she's
the gas station lady. Yes. And so she says that to me, and I go, I said, she goes, you need to be more respectful. I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, I didn't even damage your car. There's no scratch. I looked, and there's nothing. There's no problem. And so what was I supposed to do? And she said, you could have at least told me. I go, I didn't know you were in the car. I walked by the car. Didn't see anybody in the car. I didn't notice anybody was in the car. If I'd known you were in the car, I would have said, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong. I'm sorry. There's nothing, whatever. I would have said, I apologize. Your car's fine, whatever. I would have said something to you. And she said, well, you need to be more respectful. Blah, blah, blah. And she started screaming at me, whatever. And I go, whatever. I said, look, I opened my door like this, and I opened my door, and I barely tapped her door. I said, like that. She said, yes. And I closed it. And I said, so there's no damage. Is there any damage to your car? She said, no. I said, okay, then. She said, well, I want you. What did she? Wait. I closed the door. I'm trying to remember what happened. I'm sorry. I'm losing my train of thought. Closed the door. And, I know what I said. She said the same thing to me. You be respectful, whatever. I said, look, have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever had an accident in your life? And I was trying to reason and rationalize with her. And she said, no, I haven't.
Then I would be like, you know what? You were just a cold.
And I go, you just want to be disagreeable and unreasonable. So whatever, bye. And I roll up my window. And she flips me the bird through my window, and says, fuck you, faggot, like that. I roll down my window. I said, what did you say? Whatever, like, she said, fuck you, faggot. And I don't know what she's saying anymore. I said, fuck you, you dirty fucking cunt whore, but bitch. I mean, I went on and every fucking epithet I could use. Fuck you, Trump fucking motherfucking supporter. I mean, shit like that. I was just going on and on and on. And I just went off on the bitch. And she said, I am not a cunt. I said, you fucking cunt, dirty fucking cunt whore. She said, I am not a cunt. I said, oh, but you're probably a Trump supporter, aren't you? And she said, and she goes, you're a whore, like that. She called me a whore. And it cracked me up. Why did she call me a whore? I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows?
And then anyway, she calls me a whore, and I roll up my window. I said, what? Fuck you, bitch, whatever. And I back out of the parking space, and she's flipping me off from standing behind her car, and I'm flipping her off as I'm driving away. And that's what happened. Why the fuck? What was the fucking problem? What is wrong with
know.
people? I mean, like, you had this incident at the gas station with that woman, and I had this incident with this at the Walgreens with this woman. I mean, it's the same woman, but I'm saying a woman. I
Right.
mean, people. Was there any reason for that situation to go to that level? No, she did not have to escalate it, but she calls me a faggot. Which, and my friends, I tell my friends and my husband, I'm like, why did she call you faggot? I mean, how did she know you were gay? I was like, I don't know. It's the way I was talking or whatever. I don't know. And she's like, they're like, I don't know how she knew you were gay. Maybe you just use that as epithet to everybody. I was like, I don't know. But anyway, I just found it to be abhorrent behavior. But I mean, I just was not having it that day. I was just not having it at all. I was not having it at all.
I don't blame you though. I mean, some people just like to cause a scene and all that shit.
I don't think she has a life. I think if you have to cause that kind of commotion, you don't have anything going on. You know what I mean? About something so
Right.
stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway. So that was my
It
little,
is what it is.
that was my little Walgreens Throwdown thing. And that kind of stuff does not typically happen to me, but I just was not. No.
Well, I guess I can go and tell you one of mine since we're already
Yes.
on this. So, back on Sunday, I made a post about this, by the way, but back on Sunday, I had gone to Taco Bell
Yes.
and I placed an order. Get home, they messed up my order, and some things were missing. So I was like, I really didn't feel like driving back up there at that particular time. So I said, you know what? I'm going to just call, speak with the manager, and get it taken care of. I called and spoke with this manager back on Sunday. She said, well, can you come back up here? I said, well, I just got home, and I'm really not in the mood to drive back up there again. So, can something be done? She's like, yeah, let me just write your name down in the book, and, let me get your name and all that information. She said, do you know when you'll be back? I said, I'm really not sure. It'll probably be midweek next week. She was like, fine, let me just get your name. I'll write down the book. Tell them that you spoke with me. I forgot the lady's name.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, and they'll replace your order. I said, fine, no problem. Give her my name. I said, thank you so much. Hung up. Didn't think twice about it. Well, yesterday, for the people who don't live in Dallas, weather was a nightmare yesterday. It just rained and poured and rained and poured. So I was like, and then I got home late. So I was like, I'm not going to cook anything. And then the light bulb came on in my head. I was like, you know what?
Bell.
I can go to Taco Bell because they owe me a free meal.
Yeah.
So I pull up in the parking lot, and normally when I'm going to get a meal replaced, if this ever happens, I normally like to go inside just so I can talk to the manager, let them know who I am, if they need me to sign anything, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get there, it was about 9:30. Now the hours on the door specifically states that the lobby closes at 10 p.m. I pull on the door at 9:32. The doors are locked. There's still people in there eating, but the doors are locked. I said, okay, well, that's kind of weird. I said, okay, I'll just go and drive through and just tell them what happened. So I pull up in the drive through. I tell the lady that, honestly, I thought it was a man, but it was actually a woman. But I told her, I said, yeah, I was here on Sunday and I placed an order and I spoke with the manager and, she told me to come up here and, take care of everything to be taken care of. She said, okay, fine. What's your name? I give her my name. She said, okay, let me go check and see something. I said, okay. She was gone for maybe about 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back and she says, do you have a receipt? I was like,
Excuse
no,
me?
I didn't. I don't have a receipt because
They write
the
her
lady
name
that I
down.
spoke with told me to just come, just give you my name. I don't have a receipt. She was like, well, I don't see anything in the book, and if you didn't bring a receipt, then I can't, replace the meal. I said, okay, well, who's the manager that worked Sunday afternoon? I said, it was a female manager Sunday afternoon. Who was the lady working that day? She really didn't answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, is there a way I can speak with the manager? She was like, I am the manager. I said, well, can I pull around to the window then? And she didn't say anything, so I just drove up to the window. I'm like, bitch, you're not about to just be like, you're not about to end this. I'm going to end this when I feel like ending this, okay? So I said, what is your number to corporate? Because, I've given you my money and my order wasn't correct and I'm trying to get replaced and now you don't want to replace my order. She said, it's 1-800 Taco Bell. I said, okay, well, can you write it down for me? Now, here's where it goes downhill. This is the moment it went downhill. I said, well, can you write it down for me? I mean, now, clearly, I was being petty at this point.
Yes,
clearly,
you
I
were.
could remember 1-800 Taco Bell. Okay? So I said, well, can you write it down for me? Then she says, I forgot his name. I'm just going to just say.
His name? Was it him? I thought you thought it was a girl.
No, it was a woman, but I'm just saying because she was trying to get like another employee to do it.
Oh, okay.
So, and I don't remember the employee's name, but I'm just gonna say his name is Mike.
Okay.
She says, Mike, go get the number for him and write it down. I said, wait a minute. I said, I didn't ask Mike for the number. I asked you for the number. I said, if I wanted to ask Mike for the number, I would have asked him directly. I said, you are the manager. I asked you for the number. And then she was like, well, I don't have anything to write it down with. I said, you don't have anything to write with and you're working at a restaurant? So she was like, I don't have anything. She's like, are you done? Are you done? Before I knew it, Donovan, I put that car in park. I'm in drive-through now. I put that car in park, unlocked my door, got up, stood up in drive-through, and I was like, I said, bitch, you are going to give me this number to corporate. I said, do not fucking play with me. She was just like, and then she stormed off or whatever. And she was, going all through the store screaming and hollering, all that type of stuff. And then then she started like, speaking in Spanish or whatever. I'm sure she was cussing me out and calling me all types of niggers and shit. I don't care. But I was yelling through the window.
Right,
I said, don't get mad at me
right.
because they put you on this fucking schedule to serve tacos tonight.
Right.
I said, I didn't put you on this fucking schedule. I said, you need to revert your anger towards the bitch that put you on the schedule tonight. I'm like, don't get mad at me because they got you in here serving tacos and Mexican food. Then she's gonna give it. Then she wrote the number down and then passed it to an employee, and the employee gave it to me. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take it from him just because he really has anything to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, she's like, are you done? Are you done? I said, no, I'm not done. She's like, well, I got cars behind you. I said, I don't give a fuck about them people behind me.
So what did you do in the end? Did you get the number or not?
I got the number, and then I just drove off.
Did you call 1-800 Taco Bell and tell them?
She had me so upset, like that. I haven't been that upset in a while. Like when I got back in my car, my hands were like shaking. I said, you know what? Let me get the fuck out of this drive-through before I end up being one of those people on World Star that snatched this bitch through the drive-through window. So, and then I'm sitting up in jail, and people want to know why the fuck I did what I did.
Well,
so.
Taco Bell sucks. I mean, their customer service sucks. Every Taco Bell I've ever gone to has always sucked, and I always get my order wrong, and they always are evil and rude. I mean, I don't know what it is about it. There's every once in a while I find one person at one Taco Bell every once in a while that's nice and professional, but they suck and they don't give a fuck. So
right. Well, it's a lot of fast food restaurants. I would say that Taco Bell and McDonald's are the worst.
I mean, if you're paying $1 for a fucking hamburger or whatever, you can expect much. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Right. But like Taco Bell, there's this guy at the Taco Bell near us. He's the same fucking guy as this skinny blonde kid. I don't know. He's probably 24 or something like that. And he's always fucking there. I don't think he ever fucking goes to sleep or anything. But he always gets my fucking order wrong. And if I ever order a fucking vegetarian power burrito, whatever, he doesn't put shit on it. There's no beans. It's supposed to have fucking beans on a fucking vegetarian burrito. So last time I ordered one, he didn't put any fucking beans on it. It was just fucking mush. It was just fucking sour cream and lettuce and tomato, and that was it. I was like, what the fuck? And so I complained like the third time about this idiot. And also, my husband loves sweet tea, and so every time we go there, he gets sweet tea. And the last time we went there, I said he wants sweet tea, whatever. And he brings a sweet tea.
That sweet tea is gross.
Well, he likes sweet tea anyway, period, whatever. But anyway, I don't like sweet tea at all. But anyway, so I get the sweet tea and I give it to him while we're waiting for our food through the drive-thru. And he goes, this isn't sweet. And I go, okay. So I give it back to the guy. I go, this isn't sweet tea. He goes, yes, it is. I just got out of the sweet tea pot. I go, I don't care if you got out of the sweet tea pot. It's not sweet tea. And he said, yes, it is. I just got it out of there. I said, just because you got it out of the sweet teapot doesn't mean it's sweet tea. I said, he knows what sweet tea is. He's a sweet tea connoisseur. I said, he knows what it tastes like.
Right.
I said, do you want to taste it or do you want to go pour it out of there and see for yourself in another cup if it is or not? Hold on. And he closes the window and I can see him through the window pouring the fucking tea, and he pours it. And then he tastes it at his own cup or whatever. And he looks back at the manager and says, that tea's not sweet or whatever, like whatever. And then he comes back. He puts another bag in there or something, does something, I don't know. Comes back with another one for my husband. And then he opens the window. He goes, here, he said, what did he say? He said, oh, the label was wrong or something like that. I said, so it wasn't sweet tea then, was it? He goes, no, it wasn't sweet. So anyway, I just don't understand the attitude these people have. If you fuck up.
And here's my thing.
Yeah.
Now, the restaurants that I'm going to name off, the two that I normally have the most issues with customer service, when I do, not that I go to these places a lot, but when I do, I mean, I do occasionally order from these places here and there throughout time, I guess. The ones I normally have the most issues with customer service is, and before I say this, please do not take this personal if you work at one of these two places. But the two places I normally experience the most issues with customer service or whatever is Taco Bell
Yes.
and McDonald's.
I don't go there, but yeah.
Those are normally two. I mean, I don't go there a lot, but I do have my moments where I'm like, oh, I want some fries, or I want a baked apple pie, or it's like, I know it's all junk food at the end of the day, but sometimes like you just want it just to satisfy your craving or
You
whatever.
don't have to justify it to me. I don't care. I'm
So,
just saying I don't go
saying,
there.
I'm just saying. But those are normally the two that I have issues with. Now, the three that I normally have the best customer service with and is normally Chick-fil-A,
Which you shouldn't be going to anyway, but go on.
Raising Cane's,
Uh-huh.
and Schlotsky's.
Oh, I love Schlotsky's. Delicious.
Yeah, normally those three have really good customer service. Like every time I go.
Oh.
But the rest of them, they just.
Well, that reminds me of the Jack in the Box. The Jack in the Box near us, it is horrible. And I don't know if you've ever gone to a restaurant or a fast food place that does this, but you know how some places have two windows? Like you drive up.
You mean like a dual, like a.
Yes. No. I mean, like you drive up the first window, you pay, and you go to the second window, and you get your food or whatever. Like a lot of McDonald's are like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the Jack in the Boxes we go to are like that, and at least one near us is like that. And so it's been here for. I mean, I've been in this house for 12 years, and it's the same one I always go to. Anyway, so about 4 or 5 years ago, they started. The management took over, changed or something. I don't know. But you would pull up to they still do this now to this day, by the way. You pull up to the main drive-through or to place your order. Place your order. They say, "Okay, please pull up to the first window." So you pull up to the first window and you pay and you give them your money. Okay, wait here. I'll go get your drink. And they go to the other side where the other window is, get your drink, bring it back to you there, and hand you your drink when they're ready for you to move forward, so that they can cheat the clock, so that the timer. Doesn't fucked up their time for their lines.
And that happened to me just the other day at McDonald's, and because I just ordered like a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And I got a Dr. Pepper and an apple pie. That's what I got. And they gave it to me like at the window where I pay, and I was like, maybe at the time I was just like, okay, good, I ain't got to sit behind these two other cars in front of me.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Now that I think about it, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of clever because they get to beat the clock that way." Because I know it like affects their service and performance. And all that stuff.
Which for me annoys me because I sit there and they're like, "Wait here," and I don't. First of all, I don't like people telling me what to do. If I don't want to wait there, I'll go to the fucking next window. And sometimes I've done that anyway. I've gone to the next window and they have gotten so mad, they've gotten so pissed, and they're like, "I told you to wait at the window." Blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't want to wait at the other window. Why am I waiting at that window when you're coming over here to get me the fucking drink? I know what you're doing anyway. So it's like, so then I complain because I'm a bitch. I complain to Jack in the Box about it and tell him, look, it's annoying that I have to wait and everybody else has to wait in line behind me and they can't pull up the window, blah, blah, blah. And I told them like 3 or 4 times about it. They never did shit about it. Not one thing. They don't care.
But when it comes to Jack in the Box, I'm really not a fan of Jack in the Box because their food's kind of gross to me.
Well, I'm not even talking about their food.
It can't be any more gross than Taco Bell or McDonald's. But
since I became a vegetarian, I don't even really eat there that much anymore. But I mean, I can't. There's literally nothing at Jack in the Box or McDonald's that I can eat other than like sides, like
But the thing about Jack in the Box,
whatever.
their sodium and calorie content is so high.
So is Wendy's. Wendy's is like that too. And
yeah, I really don't eat at Wendy's though. I really don't eat. I mean, I rarely eat at fast food restaurants. I normally cook a lot of my food because I'm on my diet. I'm trying to lose weight or whatever. But like last night was a prime example. I wanted a Dr. Pepper and I wanted an apple pie.
Right.
So I went to McDonald's and I was just like, but
well, you know what, Jason,
if
you didn't go and get that apple pie and that whatever you got, Dr. Pepper and then apple pie, you would be later on the next day or later that night you'd be ravenous and you eat like 10 times more. You know what I mean? So it's better that you just eat what you want anyway when you want it. My opinion.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's
what I did. I got up at I didn't get up. I was already up. But it was like a little after midnight, maybe like just shortly after midnight, and the McDonald's is down the street. I was like, you know what? The Dr. Pepper's $1. Their apple pie is like 79 cents. I'm going to go get one.
Well, I'm good for you. I'm glad you got your pie.
And I got my satisfaction, and then I watched Family Guy, and then I went to bed.
Nice. Well, Family Guy's not new right now. You're watching reruns or whatever?
Yeah, it was on Adult Swim.
I watch it on there sometimes.
It comes on Adult Swim. So yeah.
Oh, I watch American Dad on there, actually. It's what I watch on there, but yeah.
That alien is hilarious.
Oh my God. Why did his name just go out of my head? What the fuck? I can't remember his name. What is wrong with me? Oh my god, I can't remember his name, but he talks like that. He talks like, whatever.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
What
but
the fuck
yeah.
is wrong with my head? I'm getting old now. See, I don't remember
I
shit
can't
anymore.
remember his name, but they showed a clip where he was like, "You need to get it together, girl." I was like, "Yes."
No, Roger. His name is Roger.
Yeah,
Roger.
yeah.
Yes, he's so fucking hilarious. I know. He's such an asshole. But anyway, but no, I love that show too. Anyway, let's move on. Talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about millennials preferring sex before the first date because you're.
Are we supposed to be surprised by that?
You're a millennial, aren't you? A millennial? You're a millennial. You're the millennial.
Yeah. Well, technically, according to the rule of thumb, whatever that is, they're saying that millennials are ones anywhere under 40 or under, but you're. I mean, I'm going to include you in it too. I mean, you're. Just
I'm not
like,
a millennial.
Huh?
I'm not a millennial.
How old are you?
I'm Gen X. I'm 42 as of this last month.
2 years past the millennial.
That still doesn't make me. It still makes me.
well-
Still makes me a. I'm Gen X. But
Oh, okay.
it says right here, millennials are, according to a consumer research firm, the first millennials were born in 1978. I was born in 1975. What year were you born?
82.
So you're definitely a millennial. So anyway, it says that the millennials, I'm Gen X, you're a millennial. That's what the whole thing when we started the show, Gen X, Y, and Z. But anyway,
Yes.
although he wasn't really X, he was really more of millennial, but whatever. Anyway, so what it said was that the millennials prefer to have sex before a first date. They'd rather just have sex first and see if they like each other that way before they even start dating. Because they figure that it's more telling about who they are, and that's just kind of the way people are doing things these days. They just have sex first and then romance later. Now, what do you think about that?
I actually agree.
Do you?
Yes.
And why is that?
I agree. It's not something that I'm looking for. It's not like I'm looking to, fuck and then go on a date. But I guess it depends on how the other person performs in bed, because, and I say it like this, well, this is my reason of thinking at least. I feel like if you perform well in bed, you will more than likely want to get together with them again.
Mm-hmm.
And that may lead to a date. Because I've actually done this. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little snippet of my life. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I was messing around with a married man.
Mm-hmm. Recently?
Well, this is like about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. I think you told me about this, but okay.
So I was messing around with a married man,
Mhm.
and I knew he was married, and I just didn't give a fuck. So,
Mhm.
because that's just me, I'm like, well, obviously your wife ain't doing something, and which he told me that she wasn't doing a lot of stuff. But anyway, and the sex was good. So I mean, we would pretty much go out on dates and come back and fuck and just like a rinse repeat.
But to me, it sounds.
That's
But to
pretty
me,
much what it was.
But to me, it sounds like your relationship revolved around sex.
No.
Primarily, if you first had sex and then you go out and you do some things that sometimes
Well, he
blah,
was
blah, blah.
married. I knew nothing was gonna come out of that. And I knew it was gonna
Therefore,
come to
your
an
relationship
end.
revolved around sex. You didn't really have anything else you could really do with it because you couldn't really be part of his life. So
Right.
I'm just saying that that's the problem I see with it is because I don't see that. First of all, I don't care if somebody has sex with somebody they just met 2 minutes ago or someone they've known for years. I don't care. I don't judge. It doesn't fucking matter to me. I've done both. I've had sex with people I met like literally seconds before, and I've had sex with people I've known for years and people I got to know before I had sex with them. So it just depends on.
Well, no, but then I dated one guy that I had sex with first, and then we dated for like a year and a half.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
saying that having sex first is going to preclude a relationship. I'm just saying that this article is saying that people, instead of even dating, they not even going on a date first. I'm not saying you go on a date and then you have sex and then you date exclusively or ultimately a relationship or whatever. This is saying that they just hook up like on Grindr or Tinder or whatever. and then decide if they want to date the person instead of going on a date and then having sex. Do you see the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe it though.
No, I do too, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that millennials are just so go 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 go. Generally speaking, they don't really have time to fucking waste, and so they just want to just get shit. Okay, either this person's gonna be good in bed, gonna be bad in bed. If they're bad in bed, let's just kick them to the curb and just move on to somebody else. But for me, I've always loved. I mean, look, I've had my whore phase. I've had my non-whore phase in my life, but I will tell you that I have always been a romantic person. So I love romance and all that stuff, and I find that to be really lacking in that generation these days. And people don't ever date anymore. And this is just one prime example. They don't
That's
date.
true.
They don't date. I mean, you go on. I remember when I was in my teen years and my 20s. Gay guys still dated. I know at least the guys I dated did, because I dated older guys generally, at least 10 years older or something, 5-10 years older. And, I would go on dates. We'd go out, we'd go to movies, we'd go to museums or dinner or whatever. And then eventually we'd have sex, if it got to that point after we liked each other enough.
Yeah, times have changed. And I kind of blame social media for that.
Well, that is because of social media. Of course it is, because it's so quick and easy. It's like a drive-through menu now. It's
But
easy.
I'm surprised how many married men married to women. And then women don't like to do this to them, don't like doing that to them.
But if they're going and having sex with a man, they're not straight. Sorry.
Well, no, I know that, but what I'm saying is, like, okay, for example, when I dated this man, we weren't dating, we were just fucking, we were like friends.
Well, whatever, yeah.
But he was telling me that, like, his wife didn't like giving him head, she didn't like to have sex that much, and that type of thing. I was like, all this dick, are you kidding me?
Women are different than men, though. Women are different than men.
But here's my thing, though. I understand women are different than men.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do that type of stuff, if your husband wants to fuck and you don't want to fuck and you keep putting it off and everything, they're eventually going to stray and find this. If you don't give it to them, somebody will.
Yes, that is
So,
absolutely true.
That
is absolutely
I
true.
just happen to be the one, and it actually happened quite a few times.
The thing is, if people are in a marriage or a relationship and one of the people are not having sex or doesn't want to have sex ever, then the other person's eventually going to sleep around, or they're going to break up or divorce or whatever. That's just inevitable, because sex, to me, it seems, is the glue that holds relationships together in a lot of, through intimacy or whatever. Now, there are relationships. I've known people who have non-sexual marriages and non-sexual relationships, and they're still monogamous. They don't have sex with other people, but they don't have sex at all either. And to me, I could never do that. It's not at all something that I would be happy with. But if it works for them, fine. But I think generally most people need sex. Most people need it.
Right.
It's just a biological drive. So if you
I agree.
don't get it somewhere, you're going to get it somewhere else.
I will say that dick was nice, though.
Congratulations.
I will say that.
That's nice.
That's been 2 years ago. He's long gone, but yeah, it was nice when it lasted. Yeah.
Well, maybe he ejaculated 21 times a month, because if he did that, then he was absolutely
Hell, I'm the one that probably did it to him.
positively had a good healthy prostate, because apparently, according to scientists, that if you ejaculate at least 21 times a month, whether it's through masturbation or through sex, intercourse, whatever, your prostate will be much healthier and you're less likely to have prostate cancer. And then people who don't have sex or hold it up inside them and don't, have sex.
Are you guys listening out there?
So,
listen up. And if you're already doing it 21 times a month, then you have a healthy prostate.
Mine is very pristine. Let's say that much. Mine's pristine because I'm pristine anyway.
Well, mine is the same way. Either when I'm doing it to myself or with someone else.
Right.
Trust me.
I'm
hitting the monthly quota of 20.
I'm saying I'm hitting it 30 times at least a month, so I'm good. Yeah. But there was a story about these Brazilian soccer players. Did you see this story? These 4 players they're from Brazil, and the 4 players, yes, from Sport Club Gaucho, a Brazilian soccer club based in Brazil. They had their contracts terminated this week after a video of them engaging in gay locker room sexcapade emerged online, it says. And it's 11 seconds of video, which actually I posted in the notes if you want to see it, if you haven't seen it yet. And it shows one of them on his knees sucking off these 2 other players. And then one of the other players is coming in with his phone, and he's laughing at him. And then he shows it to everybody and outs him. So do you think that they should have been fired for having gay sex or having sex, period, in the locker room?
No, I mean, what is the issue? Is it
that they're gay? Because if it had been a woman, that they'd been fucking a woman, then when they would have said shit.
No.
Yeah.
No. But then it's Brazil. I don't know. I don't know what the gay. I mean, I don't know what the LGBT community is like in Brazil. I thought they were pretty open about that, but maybe they're
It's
not.
just
I
like
don't
it is
know.
anywhere else, Jason. Just because a country may have some gay positive laws and general positivity towards LGBT people doesn't mean that everybody is pro-gay or whatever. And I
Right,
think
that's true.
in that culture, especially that it's one of those machismo cultures. I think the black culture's like this. I think the Italian culture's like this, and the Hispanic cultures are like this. They're very this machismo sort of like, you're not a man if you're having sex with another man, that kind of shit. And so they're very much like that in Brazil. I know.
But you know what? I don't mean to cut you off, but I was watching this segment on What Would You Do, and they were doing about a black person coming out as gay. You know, that hidden camera show,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually had a lot of black individuals on there,
Mm-hmm.
and they were actually like supportive of the gay guy. They were just like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay." And I was like, "Is this a sign that we're coming around?" Because
Mm-hmm.
the majority of the people were like African American, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm like they're actually supportive of this gay guy." So
Well,
maybe things are slowly but surely changing.
I honestly have always found the black community to be far more homophobic than the white community at large.
No. And I agree, but I'm just saying it may be slowly turning because I think they were in, yeah, they were doing this and they were in Atlanta, and Atlanta is a predominantly black city. So, and they were at a restaurant, and the guy was telling his parents that he was gay, and his parents had like this priest or something or reverend, and they were trying to like pray the gay out of him or some shit like that.
Right.
And like everyone was just like men and women both, they were just like, oh, just be who you are, and I understand those are your parents, and just be you, and yada yada yada, and that type of thing. I thought it was nice. I was just like, okay, that's pretty interesting. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't have anything else to say about it. I just think that it's stupid that they were let go because they're gay, but it's because of the machismo culture that they were in. If it had been if it had been an American group of gay guys or guys who were engaging in gay sex or whatever in a locker room, and they were like, I don't know, American football players or soccer players or whatever, I don't think that it would have necessarily ended their contracts. I think it probably would be illegal for them to do that, depending on what state it's in. But I think that it would have been shameful or whatever because the way people look at gay people in this country. I mean, still today, people look at gay people as if we're somehow less than, or we're marginalized by everybody else. Like we're queer. We're not. We're aberrant. We're not like the norm, and so we can't be trusted, and we're weird, and we're going to molest your children, and like, all this kind of fucking bullshit. So. It still persists today, all that bullshit, and I think in some people's minds, and that's why they were let go. But whatever, I just think it's stupid. But anyway, but I mean, to me, the idea of walking in on 4 guys having sex is kind of hot, but in a locker room. But
No,
I'm a gay
I
guy,
agree.
but I guess to a straight guy, it's just disgusting or whatever. And so I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Anyway, also in the news, Texas Supreme Court has ruled that gay couples are no longer guaranteed spousal benefits. So one of the great things about having been able to be married now or have our marriage legalized in this state, my husband and I, is that I now qualify for his benefits because I'm self-employed and I always had to pay for my own insurance. And now I'm on his plan. I have been for the past couple of years since it was legalized here. But now they're saying that gay couples no longer qualify for that, whereas every other person does. So now
what's the reasoning though?
because they say that gay marriages are not actual marriages, and the same bullshit we've heard for all these years.
How can they say that it's legal now?
Yes, but it's the state Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court. The Texas Supreme Court said that while same-sex marriage is legal, the, quote, reach and ramifications of the rights of gay couples have yet to be determined. Therefore, they're saying that even though it's legal here to get married, it doesn't mean that our rights are equal under the law, which is complete bullshit. And it's just because they're trying their hardest to make our marriages unequal to heterosexual ones because they consider them to be, less than. So, and our fucking Governor
That's Texas
Abbott,
for you.
that's Texas. I hate this fucking state. I swear to God, I hate this state. I swear to God. But you know what? I've thought about it so many times. if I were to move somewhere else, like, I don't know, California or Oregon or wherever, somewhere they're like really liberal, or Vermont, I don't know, whatever, it wouldn't be that much different, because the truth is there's always going to be fucking bigots wherever you go. And you know what I mean? My rights would be better. I mean, I think in, general everyday life, it wouldn't be that different. But I don't know. I just think it's just another sign that, to me, these people on the other side of the aisle, so to speak, people against us, are trying so hard to revert all the things we've worked so hard for all of these years. They're trying to revert back to the way it was in 1958, when we didn't have any rights at all.
Well, that's what Trump supporters like.
Well, I know, but it's not just for gay people. It's for straight people. I mean, it's for single gay people as well. Their rights are being, taken away as well. So it's not. It's just a matter of time before all of our rights are taken away. So anyway, that's why I have a gun, and I'm gonna be sure to protect myself from the fucking Nazis when they come knocking on my door.
Right. So I just want to address something really quick. Something that happened.
You're not listening to me. You're just waiting.
Yes, I am. No,
you're not. You're waiting to say the next thing. I
was pulling up a feed here.
I know. I could tell. You were distracted. Rude.
Whatever. So anyway, this is more local news, but I want to share this with people.
Mm-hmm.
So last week, there was a 13-year-old girl that went missing in Duncanville, Texas, and unfortunately, they found her body dead, or they found her dead. She was kidnapped due to, I think it was like a drug deal gone wrong. And I guess they kidnapped her. I guess they took her. The only thing I can think of, they took her as collateral and they killed her. So, but here's the thing. So I was watching the news story via Facebook, and the first fucking comment right underneath it says somebody did like a cut and paste of the girl in the picture, and then gonna put the title up. Where was the Black Lives Matter people when this happened? I said, oh, okay, here we go. I said, clearly this motherfucker doesn't know a fucking thing about the Black Lives Matter movement. What does a girl have being killed by a total stranger to do with Black Lives Matter? And the reason I say that is because they were just like, well, where's the outrage in that? I was like, well, sir, I feel like you should educate yourself on the Black Lives Matter movement before you say stuff like this, because she wasn't killed by an officer of the law. Hello? This was just like a random unfortunate incident. He was like, I don't understand that. I don't understand why people aren't outraged about this. I said, everyone is outraged by it, but I said, sir, just go educate yourself on the Black Lives Matter movement, because clearly you just see a black girl and just associated with Black Lives Matter. I was like, clearly you are just a person who just does not understand what the movement is totally about. So, like, go sit on an egg or some shit. I don't know. But I was just like, why would you post something like that?
People are assholes. That's just all.
I was like, why would you? I'm like, I said, Black Lives Matter are dealing with people who have been murdered and slain by the police unlawfully, and the police officers or police departments get away with it. That's what the Black Lives Matter movement is for unjust, people being murdered, that type of thing. Yes, this is an unfortunate incident, but this situation does not qualify as a Black Lives Matter movement. It's unfortunate, but it wasn't like she was kidnapped by a police officer and the police officer shot in the head and killed her.
Right.
Like, you know what? And I hate it when I know it's not all people that say this, but you have a small percentage of people that are just like, how come where are the Black Lives Matter people for this? Where are the Black Lives Matter people for that? I'm like, this ain't got nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
Well, people are ignorant, as you well know. I mean, there's ignorant. I mean, and Black Lives Matter movement is so taken out of context by people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about or think about it. And especially people who are cop friendly or whatever. And I'm cop friendly too. I like cops. I like people in the blue or whatever. I support the blue, all that stuff. Yes. But I only support the ones that are good cops. There are bad cops too. There are bad cops who kill people for the wrong reasons, bad cops who have fucking mental problems and and bad cops who are fucking Nazis and KKK members and white supremacists in general who hate black people, who kill them just because it's fun and sport, and they use that as an excuse to kill them and the badge and the uniform to do so. So people do that all the time, and people act as if that never happens, or if it doesn't happen very much, and it does happen a lot more to black people than it does to white people. And I read a statistic recently that said that per capita of black people, there are more black people murdered in this country by white people than there are white people murdered by white people, even though there are more white people murdered as a whole. Do you know what I mean? There's more white people murdered as a whole in the country, but there, as terms of black people per capita, there are more black people murdered by white people, by white cops specifically, than by each other. So, I mean, the Black Lives Matter movement is all about saying that Black Lives Matter too. And I think if they'd put TOO on the end, then these idiots wouldn't have been, fucking up in arms about it. But they're so fucking stupid. Oh, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. Stupid ass fucks. I mean, God, they're so stupid. And yes, all lives matter. They're not saying all lives don't matter. They're saying that Black Lives Matter too, you dumb fuckers. Anyway, they fucking piss me off, so I understand how you feel. I just stupid.
Right. No, I agree. And here's another thing I'm sick of hearing about. This has been going on for the past 24 hours, and I am so sick of hearing about this bullshit. This shit between Black China and Rob Kardashian. To the people who are listening and follow me on Facebook and Instagram, please stop sending me messages talking about how do I feel about the situation, because I don't care about either one of them. I really don't even know. I don't care. I know y'all probably want to get my opinion on this, and I'm giving it to you. So here's my opinion. I don't care. So please stop sending me messages and asking me what I feel about the situation, because I don't care about Rob the Slob, and I don't care about Black Taiwan. Okay. So this whole like Donovan, in all seriousness, for the past 24 hours, whenever you get on Facebook, literally every fucking post is about these two people.
I haven't seen one post about it, so it must be in your feed or some shit, because I've never seen one post about it. I don't know what you're talking about. What happened now?
Well, I guess because I subscribe to a lot of entertainment news and stuff like that.
Yeah, probably.
It's getting to the point I'm about to unsubscribe from some of these people, because everything is about Rob and Black China. Rob and Black. I'm like,
what the fuck happened?
Maybe
did they break
Christian
up?
Was here, maybe he
did they break up?
It, but
did they break up?
Yeah, and now I really haven't been following it. I just been skimming over. I really haven't been following it. Maybe someone who has been following it and are fans of both these people can call in. But supposedly they broke up, and Rob took Black China's, repossessed her cars or some shit, and Rob posted a porn of her on the internet. I don't know. I really haven't been following it.
Well,
and
I
now
remember
they're saying
the
that he
one
could be facing criminal charges because he posted this video.
The one time I've ever seen the show that they did, Rob and Black China did, because I think you and Christian were talking about it on the show last year or something. And
well, that's when they first got together. It was interesting then.
I'm not finished with my sentence. Anyway, So as I was saying, when I first watched it, the only thing I ever saw was her being a real cunt to him all the fucking time. She was always a bitch to him. What I saw in the one or two episodes I watched, that's what it was. Now, maybe they were going through something at the time. I don't know. But she was a cunt. She was a bitch. So I don't know why he was with her in the first place. But is that just what I was getting from the show? Or was that how she always was?
I don't know. I mean, I've been following like that previously. So I really don't know how she was.
Well, my point is, it doesn't surprise me that they're divorced. I mean, because she was a bitch from what I saw. Anyway.
I don't even think they were married.
Well, I'm not saying they were married, but whatever they were together, they were living together at some point. I saw that. So, whatever the case may be, the fact that they're no longer together does not surprise me, but whatever. I don't give a fuck about them anyway. And the whole Kardashian thing, look, I don't think they're bad people. I don't think they're bad people at all. I don't think that Kim Kardashian or Khloe or Kourtney are bad people, or her mom maybe. What's her name? Chris? Maybe a little bad. But anyway, the rest of them, I think they all have issues. I think they all have issues, but we all have issues. My point is that I think they're all fame whores, yes, and fame hungry and all that shit. I
feel like the whole family is toxic. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, their mother is Chris.
It seems like
Chris is the main.
All the men that have been in have been involved in that Kardashian empire has just.
Chris is the main issue, I think, because Chris Jenner. I think, is the Svengali of the whole thing. And I think she's the one that really pulls the strings and controls everything and everybody else. And she's their manager and everything else. And so I think I don't think she's that great of a person. And I can't stand Caitlyn Jenner, by the way. I cannot stand her now. I mean, I just cannot
You already
stand
know how I
her.
feel about that. I ain't never liked that bitch.
Oh, God. Fucking
Never.
just no. But anyway, so yeah. Also, what was one more thing on here I had? I'm trying to find where I was. I lost my place. I had a list here. Here we go. The other thing was, did you know, Jason, this is very important for you and all the gays out there to understand, that frosted tips are back in men's hair, like a la 1993, or 1997, 1998, you know what that is, right?
How many
frosted
hotels?
tips and everything?
Yeah, that's when they
Just the tips are
highlight the tips, like the
yeah,
frosted
yeah.
tips.
Like Lance Bass had it in the 90s and all that.
Why? Why are they bringing this
early
back?
2000s or whatever? Well, apparently they're back now, and I don't know why they're back, but you're seeing them everywhere all of a sudden. Guys are getting frosted tips. So look out, people. Frosted tips are back, whether you like it or not. By the way, the early 2000s, I love the early 2000s. Now, the fashion was not so great in the early 2000s either, nor was it that great in the 90s. But I will say that that was a great time. It was a lot of fun. But I sure as hell don't think that the fashion was something I would ever want to repeat. Do you remember the early 2000s? How old were you in the early 2000s?
What year are you
teen
talking
years,
about?
2001, 2002, 2003. Were you a teenager or something?
I graduated high school in 2001, so I was 18.
Okay, so I was 25 when in 2000. It was 2000. I was 25. Anyway, so so you remember what the clothes? What were you wearing then in the early 2000s? You remember what you were wearing?
I know back in the 2000s, I was wearing what was popular for high school boys in the 2000s. I'm trying to remember. I know there was a short period where bell bottoms came back, but they were like fashionable bell bottoms.
That was in the 90s, I thought, but okay.
No. Where I lived, at least, they were popular. I don't know, but
well, you were like 10 years behind it. You were in Mississippi, weren't you?
but northern Mississippi, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think for a short time they were like popular, and then mainly it was a lot of. I don't remember. I mean, I remember wearing a lot of shorts.
I remember the early 2000s as being a lot of like that polyester fabric and like
I
you
know
what I mean, like lycra.
You would wear like the wife beater with and then have like a polo shirt, but it was unbuttoned.
Yes, and
that
jeans.
was like the main look of guys in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. And like tattered jeans were in, and acid wash jeans were still in, and that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what else did I have? Hair was always like, I guess that really is like spiky usually. I don't know.
They all went for the spiky kind of messy look.
Yeah, and that's what was in. But anyway, but I remember it was good times.
I never liked that look, honestly. Liked it.
Depends on who it's on for me. I mean, if it's on somebody really gorgeous, I'm okay with it. But otherwise, like, go away. Anyway, before we go, I'll say that 2 years ago today, our listener Kimberly, who called in last time, I think 2 or 3 times ago, Kimberly called in. She's been listening to my show for that long, and been listening to Gayxyz for the past year. And she wanted to say hi and congratulations and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. And anybody else who's listening. By the way, if you listen to the show, be sure you go to our website, which is gayxyz.com, which has not been updated in forever because I'm a busy fucker. And Jason doesn't know how to fix it, just change it. So I have to get somebody to do that or do it myself. I haven't had any time. But anyway, it's still there if you want to find out more about me or Jason.
He hasn't shown me how to do it, people, so I can't update.
You and fucking Christian both, ever since you started this show, the 3 of us started this show, have had access to the fucking site. I told you that when we started.
I have access to it, but I don't know how to put. We'll talk about this off after the show ends. We're not gonna have a.
You need some lynda.com in your life. You need some lynda.com in your life or something, because it's what you need. Anyway, but you can go there. You can also go to Twitter and find us there at Gayxyz Show, and also on Facebook. Be sure to join us, our Facebook group, which is Gayxyz Show group, and also follow us on Facebook.
iHeartRadio.
Follow us on Facebook as well. Gayxyz is not on iHeartRadio. Off Limits Show is on iHeartRadio. Remember, there's a difference. Blah blah blah. Because we never.
I know that, but we'll talk about
never
that.
Submitted
off the air,
again. Anyway, what else? That's it, I guess. And so, if you also, by the way, if you have questions, you want to comment on the show or anything, you can always you can tweet us, as I said, but you can also call us at 214-377-0481. You can leave a voicemail, and we will play it on the show live and answer any question that you have. I don't care how rude or how nice or how weird or whatever. I'd love to hear from you. So would Jason, and we'd love to give you advice or answer any questions you may have. So.
Yeah, my friend James said he was going to call in.
Well,
or
James
at
hadn't
least
called
listen,
in.
but
James a liar. James
I
a
don't know if
lying
he actually
bitch.
did, so.
James is a lying bitch. Anyway. Anyway, so
I didn't say that, James. So if you listen, I didn't say that. That was Donovan, okay?
I don't hear any James
Just wanna be
calling.
clear.
I didn't hear any James calling. Anyway, so we'll be back next week with more Gayxyz, the latest hot topics in gay world, and be sure to stay safe and be safe if you can be, and keep yourself safe out there. Don't get gay beat or anything.
Wait, I need to give out my stuff too before you leave.
Sure, go ahead. I didn't give you my stuff out either. Go ahead. That's our stuff. He wants to give out his personal stuff, people. So go ahead.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
So you can follow me on Instagram. It is fireandice17. That's FIREANDICE 17.
Yes. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, and you can follow me at Off Limits Show on Facebook and on iHeartRadio and on iTunes and on Spreaker and on Instagram and on Tumblr. So you can find me pretty much everywhere. Just type in Off Limits Show. You'll probably find me somewhere, okay? So we'll be back next week. We thank you for listening. Have a good night, everybody. We love you. Love you, love you. Good night. Good night.
Good night and stay gay.
Bye.